You guys asked for it, you want to know what the 8-25 f4 Pro looks like on the Pen F. Plus, brick wall tests. In my last review on the 8-25 f4 Pro, I deliberately missed out on the brick wall test because I just want to show you what the actual photo looks like in the real world. But many of you asked for it, so I'm going to do a brick wall test on this specific lens against, also by your request, the 7-14 f2.8 Pro. So you can see how much wider that lens is or how much closer this lens can shoot compared to the 7-14, and also obviously the image quality, sharpness and rendering tests. As you know, numbers don't mean anything until you actually see the photos, right? So here I am comparing the 7-14 2.8 Pro and the latest 8-25 f4 Pro, just to see the difference between the focal length 7 compared to 8 and 14 to 25, just to see how much wider and how much tighter you can get in a shot. As you can see, the 1mm difference between the 7 and 8mm actually doesn't mean too much. But the big difference is the 25 on the latest lens is a lot closer, and also you can get a lot tighter, which means that you can actually do a lot more, just a little bit more documentary portraits, just general street shots, and because 25 is a standard focal length in micro four thirds, which is equivalent to 50mm in full frame term. So it is actually a very, very versatile focal length with the 8-25 compared to the 7-14, which is more like a specialist ultra wide lens. Here's the sharpness test, and here you can see why the 7-14mm f2.8 Pro has been a favorite for many photographers, especially those who can utilize that sort of ultra wide angle focal length. But to me, it's just my workhorse. I take it to weddings and do all kinds of travel shots with it. But I did mention something about the filters in my review previously, that using filters is difficult with that lens. So this will be a plus. But that's another issue which I mentioned already in my review videos, and today is only about the test on the brick wall. On the brick wall? Yeah, with the brick wall, so you can see the actual sharpness and detail, how much it can resolve with both lenses. Now you've seen the sample images. You see, both lenses are exceptional when it comes to sharpness, especially when stopped down. But I have to say that the 7-14 2.8 Pro is a little bit softer, especially at the edges of the frame. But when stopped down to f4, these two lenses are basically identical. However, I noticed a couple of differences between the two lenses. And first is color. Yes, the 7-14 2.8 Pro is a little bit cooler and a little bit green bias, while the new 8-25 f4 Pro is a little bit warmer and a little bit of magenta bias. Second is rendering. Well, you've seen the sharpness test already. They're both basically identical, but once you punch into almost pixel level, you can actually see that they draw the images slightly differently. But at the end of the day, these two are different lenses with two different optical formulas. So there you go, this is the end of this technical review, and I hope you enjoyed it. Well, you better be, because you requested it and I spent time doing this just for you. Anyway, what do I get from this brick wall test? Well, let's talk about the 8-25 f4 Pro first. It is a fantastically sharp and well-rendered lens, and with a little bit of a modern punch to it. and that's to do with the rendering, and you have to do some pixel peeping to see it. But in real life use, you can't, to be quite honest, and you won't be able to tell until you compare directly at pixel level to another lens. So overall, I would say that the 8-25 is a very, very well executed modern ultra wide zoom lens from Olympus. And what about the 7-14 2.8? Well, it is as good as ever. As you can see from the sample images, from f4 onward, it's basically the same as a 2021 lens, and I can't see the difference there. But the benefit is of having a 2.8 means that I can shoot more low light work while keeping an ISO a bit lower, and it's just trying to squeeze out as much performance from the sensor as possible in those scenarios. So if you do need the 2.8, there you go, you've got the choice there. And if you don't, there you go, you got the f4 version. I think Olympus played it really well here, while the 8-25 is very, very good and versatile, especially with the 25mm focal length. You know, it's just giving you a slightly lighter, more versatile version for general purpose users. And there are plenty of photographers out there. And I think it's only those really, really need to squeeze out every single ounce of performance from the sensors, such as professionals who shoot low light a lot, would need the 7-14 2.8. So there's a clear, definitive line there for you to choose. So there you go. I think that I cleared up all the confusions now, and hope you enjoyed this particular review. Technical review, and you know what to do now. Thumb if you enjoyed this video, and also sub if you want to stay in touch with all things Michael 4/3, and of course Olympus. Peace. Well, first of all, it's a fantastically sharp lens and very well rendered, if there is a word of fantastically sharp. Anyway, it is sharp. No. Your wish is granted. You want to see brick wall test? I give you the brick wall test. And you want to see the lens on the Pen F? I give you the lens on the Pen F. How nice am I? Let me know what you want to see next. Anyway, have a good day everyone, and see you next time. Bye for now.